$600 million. That's the monthly volume happening right now in trading cards. You want to see the graph for it? Don't worry, I got the graph for it. So back in 2011, look, simple amounts, nothing crazy, and then it just starts going parabolic during when the world shut down, and then comes back down a little bit, but just a smidge, and then holy sweet mother of pearl, we are off to the races. $600 million in monthly volume. And I'd like to highlight that this does not include all of the transactions that are done in person. So realistically, it's probably a hell of a lot more. What's up? Welcome to the show. If this is your first time clicking on in, what's up? My name is The Shiller. We go over different trading card news, niches, some fun things, some not so fun things, and everything else under the sun. On Thursdays, we do the TCG Roundtable. We have some special guests, and that is presented to you by Synced. You can see the QR code right next to me if you're wanting to keep an eye on what your physical trading card value is for your collection. You can download the app, scan all your cards, save some time, watch it grow and grow and grow, because that's pretty much all the market is doing at this point. So I saw this post the other day from excuse me, I've said that completely wrong, and I'm probably going to butcher it again on the second tape. Mitsuhiro Arita. There we go. Nailed it. And so it was responding to Cringe Lord, which Cringe Lord's name has nothing to do with this, but it was Latios and Latias cards. And they were like, I drew them. And, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. So I went to the profile, right? And I'm like, okay, cover photo is awesome. You go through the bio, 312 Studio, illustrations for Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy, Cul-de-Sac Guardians of Gahuli, which is a story franchise that's about owls that I used to read all the time. There's like a singular movie that's out for it as well. Kamen Rider Battle, Ganbarida and others. That's like a crazy name. So anyway, I'm scrolling through and trying to see, okay, well, can we see exactly what other cards that this person has drawn? And luckily, they have an entire gallery of things that they've worked on. And excuse me, let me cover or remove the cover for a second. But comic books, boom, whole bunch of them. Absolutely outstanding. And yes, Pokemon, funny enough, is like at the bottom of this entire list that they're highlighting. They did some art cards, which I think was just some of their own variations of like an IP or characters, if you will. And then they have interviews for Magic the Gathering where they made some cards for Magic the Gathering. Scrolling on through, Power Rangers. This is where it goes into, I didn't even know Power Rangers had a trading card game. It seems obvious when you're looking at that, right? But this is the design that they went for. And like, just to pause for a second, I mean, it's kind of funky. Like it doesn't really, it feels modernized to a point. But just the fact that it's all big and bulky that way, it's a unique style on it, I think. And I feel most people have like just never talked about it because I didn't even know. But okay, we've got to the Pokemon, which is what you're all here for. And my goodness, this guy made all of these different cards, the art around it, the boxes for things. The Piplup and Blastoise, like that's fire. The fact that just like came out of that guy's mind is hilarious. So again, if you're wanting to check them out, you can go through like their entire gallery. There's much more from that, but I just thought it was a really cool piece to highlight on that front. Neon Apes highlighting that also apparently it costs $350,000 US to $400,000 US if you're wanting to buy every single one of Pokemon cards that exist. Now, the only catch with this is you can see like the graphic behind is like AI generated because all of the words don't come through right, but still they're saying 38,000 for the base set of Skyridge. Holy smokes. But the insights, what do you think's more valuable? Like a single card that's more notable than the others, right? Like the Pikachu Illustrator doesn't really count because that one was multiple millions of dollars, but like the first edition Charizards and everything else. Would you like to have a couple of them? Or would you like to have one of every single card? There's almost nobody that talks about owning every single card. I just haven't seen it. Now, speaking of owning different cards, have you guys seen what Market Forces is doing? They're starting to highlight what's going on. Different theme, familiar foundations. And again, this is a newer trading card game. Market Forces is built to feel instantly playable, especially if you've touched a trading card game before. In Magic the Gathering, you have sorceries and instants. In Market Forces, you have strategies and tactics. Saying it's kind of the same use cases and whatnot, but different verbiage. In Commander or Riftbound, you build around a central character. In Market Forces, you build around an investor, each with unique abilities. In Vibes, any card can be played face down as a rod. In Market Forces, any card can be played face down as a liquidity token. So liquidity token, going to look at that as your mana in a way, or the rod. Easy to learn, hard to master. So if you want to check that out, again, Market Forces TCG. Yo, Spiffy, what's going on? I don't know if you saw yesterday, but I went for a run and I threw in one of the Vibes cards into my pouches, and the run was much more of a vibe. So I appreciate you selling me that pack. And another question for you, Spiffy. Have you ever seen the movie Jackass? Well, apparently they are launching their final release in June of this year. I feel we've gotten like a lot of announcements that are, you know, eons and eons and eons away, like the Call of Duty movie, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to get Jackass this year. So what does my mind immediately go to? Oh, well, the trading cards from back in the day. Now, for Jackass, there was a release done by ZeroCool. And ZeroCool was somebody who worked with Stranger Things at a point. They were somebody that worked with V-Friends at a point. I want to say that there was one other one as well. But this was sort of Topps variation of what Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro has been doing with the secret layer for Magic the Gathering, where it's kind of these like side pieces, if you will, and it's expanding to other IPs. Now, Topps traditionally, they just like work with everybody, right? But the ZeroCool brand had some very like unique, kind of on the edge of the world, if you will. Again, Stranger Things, V-Friends, and Jackass. So with knowing that there's going to be this new movie coming out, does that mean that there's going to be any interest in the resurgence of Jackass as a whole? And yo, Diabolic, how we doing? Bonjour, monsieur, chilla. Oh, oui, oui. That's about it for the French, and you're going to have to give me lessons one day. And I just read what you said, so that's not even me going off the top of my head. So in 2022, there was 9,500 boxes. So when you see these new releases of trading card games, keep that in mind that Jackass, major IP, did that back in 2022. And it doesn't exist anymore. Like ZeroCool is just bada boom, bada bing, done. Now, I found some of this info from an article by Variety. And Variety, within this article, had a note, and I kind of, we'll call it plagiarizing, but we'll say it's educated information. But interesting note from the Variety article. Well, and this is stripped from it. Well, trading cards were thought of as little more than a hobby only a few years ago. The market is now valued at $13 billion, with a projection to reach $98 billion by 2027. And again, this is back in 2027 or 2022, where they're saying $13 billion. Okay, this potential is exactly what Luber was tapping into when he decided to introduce trading cards as a hobby and financial asset to this new sector of fans. It also plans to revolutionize the auction process with the first direct-to-consumer technology platform dedicated to market-based pricing. Via a blind Dutch auction, there's no starting price and no one can see anyone else's bids to ensure a fair and transparent access to the products. In quotes, the trading industry is crazy right now. It's gotten even bigger and more popular than ever, so it's very culturally relevant to be part of that. Truman says, he adds that Jackass's generation-spanning fandom is also what makes the franchise a perfect fit with the trading card business. So a few years ago, they're saying the trading card industry is crazy right now. And you have everybody that's probably at that time saying, okay, the top's in, the top's in. And we opened the stream by looking at how there is $600 million of volume a month. A month. Unreal. Yeah, Spiffy, I know ZeroCool from V-Friends, but quality is mid. If ZeroCool's producing mid quality, that is a no-go in my books. But they're gone now. So do we give them like the edge of like, it's nostalgia. It's historic. But if the cards are crap, the cards are crap. So PSA, all right. Allen Iverson, other celebrities. You don't need to sit outside of the player zone, or whether it be a dugout on the sideline at an NFL game when they're trying to leave the exits. I've seen people where they wait outside of the stadium where the athletes leave, and you'll have some of them stop to sign things. You You don't need that anymore. You just need $160 and to ship it, and then you're good. But Allen Iverson looks to be one of the first athletes to be doing this with PSA, or at least getting pushed on that at the same time that Allen Iverson, I feel like a month ago, was getting absolutely ridiculed because people paid to play in like a charity event or to see him. I think it was in Australia and he didn't even show up. So like the PR damage from that was like pretty diabolical, pun intended. But so I mean, just you can get even a Funko Pop on there. And then if you want an inscription, it's an additional 120. Man, just the money that's getting produced in these things, holy smokes. And then it gets into conversations around, it means more meaningful at this point, that point. And realistically, this gives us something to talk about more than anything else. And if people want to do that, hell yes. Ascendant Heroes booster bundles are taking a little bit of a hit. We knew that they were going to get reprinted 2 weeks ago on stream. For whatever reason, the Ascendant Heroes noticed that, hey, product's going to be delayed, but we're going to be printing it a bunch that came out like months ago, got resurfaced again. So everybody knew, again, that this was happening. But I don't think this necessarily matters. People are still posting all the time. I'm seeing lineups out the door everywhere. We're still seeing fights on the timeline like Ascended Heroes and Pokemon in general. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now, on the weird and wacky things that we just looked at for ZeroCool, Bionicle, the Lego. Can you think back to a time when Bionicle was around? And I'm going off the top of my head on this one. So I remember there was like the tubes that Bionicle came into. I thought that they were more fun than Lego, but there wasn't necessarily more you could do it because it was a figurine. They had, I think, 1 or 2 movies that came out that you could actually go on YouTube to watch if you're if you're in the mood for, which I think actually in the comments I put this on. Hold on. Yeah. I don't know if the opening is like super.
Gathered friends, listen again to our legend of the Bionicle. In the time before time, the Great Spirit descended from the heavens.
This feels like a Halo video game.
Called the Matoran to this paradise.
Yo, Mount Doji. What's up?
Without purpose. So the Great Spirit illuminated us with the 3 virtues: unity, duty, and destiny.
I forgot there was 3 pillars.
These gifts, and in gratitude, we named our island home Matanui.
Okay, all right. That I absolutely remember. So yesterday, I believe it was, in 2001, Bionicle got released. And so I'm going through like, damn, there's got to be trading cards for like Bionicle or something, right? Like Lego's got certain things from back in the day. So going through the site, and I can kind of jump to it, but there was 2 things that like stood out to me. And the photos are absolutely atrocious, so apologies for that. But these are the McDonald promo cards. So this is one example. Image is awful. And there's another one. So there's more of some of the different Bionicles that were part of it. Now, this is what the cards sort of look like, and you can't even read it, but it does say first edition, so if anybody's going out to buy them, it's a little bit easier. But they have flight, shielding, speed, strength, swimming, and vision. We'll have to learn exactly how this breaks down, but Bionicle Quest for the Mask is the first Bionicle card game released, produced by Tim Murrett and Jerry Bennington, and designed by Ted Adams in 2001. The series, make this bigger for you if I can. The series is comprised of 310 unique game cards, the first 220 from the base game and the remaining 90 from the Rahi Challenge expansion. Both the base game and the expansion feature standard prints and holographic variants of some cards. Typically, the holographic variant card were both rarer and more powerful in-game. However, some controversy surrounds card 197 as it appeared to be unobtainable in the first edition print of the series and was significantly rarer than other cards in subsequent printing. While the majority of cards printed in the series were playable cards, there were several illustrated story cards depicting moments from the Bionicle series. However, as the card game is not considered canon, the events depicted may not be entirely based on the Toa's official storyline. 310. 310 cards for Bionicle, like the year that it released. Was Bionicle that big? Because I saw another account that posted, I want to say it was like BDE Games, and they were like, man, why don't Magic the Gathering do a Universes Beyond of Bionicle? And my first reaction to it was, is it like too niche? Like, I mean, I feel like there's a couple of us that are like, yeah, I totally remember Bionicle, but I like the Toa thing. If you asked me before hearing that, I don't think I would have remembered like any character names, any world names, anything about it other than like having the toy and having some, recollection of it being big. But 310 cards for a base set is ridiculous. And so we got the McDonald's promo cards from here. And I mean, I guess shrunk, they look like a little bit easier, but most of these, the images are just dead on them. I'm surprised that like the site is even kind of operational because it feels like somewhat like old just from it is. Toa of Stone, a Toa of Earth, and then everything else just busted on that. But like, what a throwback. And then they do look completely different for this second release. They're a lot more colorful, a lot more inclined. It definitely gives you the early red versus blue Halo type of type of vibe with all this. I want to think that there was also a Game Boy game at a point that I remember playing, and that was fire. But very, very positive memories around Bionicle, and I wonder, do we see anything kind of bring that back? You know what might not be brought back? Sealed products at card shows. At least one vendor is trying to stop that, or at least event organizer. Take a look at this. So Feel Good Gaming. Hey everyone, I run Feel Good Gaming, this week's show in Glen Burrows. And I wanted to address the comments about the sealed products at our show. I've been reading all your feedback and I hear you loud and clear, and I agree. This scalping situation has gotten out of hand, especially recently, so I'm making a change to our next event. At our next show, we're banning all sealed product that is currently for sale at retail. That means vendors will no longer be allowed to sell sealed items that are typically associated with scalping. You can still sell sealed product to vendors, but they won't be able to put it up for sale at the event. We're also tightening our vendor approval process to make sure the people behind the tables are bringing the right kind of inventory and contributing to a better overall experience. I'll be going to a lot of shows to scout out good vibe-friendly vendors who have the right inventory, slabs, singles, and binders. I care a lot about the vibe of the shows and the community we're building together. Appreciate all of you who show up and speak up. It generally helps shape what this becomes. And immediately, this is met with people that are like, yeah, that's awesome, but also others that are, hey, I can't get sealed product like anywhere at my stores, and I want to go to a card show, and you're telling me that there is going to be 0 sealed products. What in the halibut are we cooking here on this? And I don't really know what to think of this by any means, because it's like a weird perspective to an extent, because they're saying, hey, I want to have like very specific vendors that are at my events, and I want to set these rules, and I want to have it where it's very like cut and defined my way. And I'm curious for the vendor point of view what that looks like, because if you're only getting like hand selected for these, does that mean that there is going to be a lower number of vendors on them? Are people going to get pissed off and say, oh, you're banning one of the best things that I sell if they have a bunch of sealed products, which going to card shows, you'll find some people have a lot of singles and no sealed product, and other people will have like almost exclusively sealed product. I remember one table in specific that I was going through, and they like made a joke to me about, haha, I charge for taking like footage of this, when I was just like going around doing the quick camera thing, and I tee-heed at them, but then I was like, yeah, I'm not buying anything. Guys, what's going on with what kind of chairs do you guys have for your computers? Is it one that you're comfortable with? I mean, the Herman Miller is one that people are talking about all the time, but apparently Toyota is like straight up just selling their vehicle chair as a gaming chair, buckle and all. and trying to think of different card seats. I'm like, you know what? Those damn well might just be the most comfortable things that exist out there. Truth be told. So I'm curious what this. Okay, it runs for $3,500. So excuse me, we are not doing. We are not getting into that one. And Mikey B cards, I just wanted to highlight, if there happens to be anyone that's a teacher, connected to teachers as well, I want to assume that this is America only. But Mikey B cards here, if you remember that X handle, or pause the video, here's what he's offering.
All right, crew, it is that time again. Time to donate a bunch of cards to cards clubs and schools and sports teams and anything that involves kiddos in the hobby. I still have a bunch of boxes to make with all of these cards. I've got a bunch already made. Huge shout out to my guy Blake Jameson, who donated a ton of cards from his Project 2020 run. I'm going to be adding those in as well. So if you run a card club, if you have anything that involves kids with cards, please shoot me a message, give me your info. I'm going to take care of all the shipping. You don't have to do anything. Just tell me like what I can do to help, and I'm going to take care of you guys from there. I can't separate them out by sport. I do not have TCG or Pokemon. I'm sorry. But if you're looking for something for the kids, please let me know and I will hook you up.
Boom. So there you go. If you want to check that out, I saw that and thought, meh. Maybe somebody will find that useful, and hopefully you do. But Mount Doji, you like the morning streams? All right, well, maybe just for you, we'll have to start rocking and rolling with these. But of course, Thursday, we got the TCG Roundtable at 6 p.m. Well, actually, no, excuse me. We're moving those back to 7 to 9 p.m. To make it a little bit easier for Mr. Adonis Slabs as he travels the world as he does, or at least in his country, not necessarily the world. I don't know, actually. I got to ask him next time. We'll see what the vacation world is for him. But Diabolic Spiffy and Mount Doji, I appreciate you guys coming on through live. We'll be back tomorrow as well. And if you guys are wanting to check out those roundtables or other content, of course, check it out on the YouTube channel. A whole bunch of stuff is on demand. And I hope you guys found something valuable out of this. And again, I'll catch you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Peace, peace.